What's up, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader here in Rio, giving video lessons as I look out at this view because I want you to have views like this too. I'm from a small town in Orange, Connecticut. Almost everyone I grew up with is still in that small town or surrounding towns in Connecticut. If you've never been there, sucks. Rio, and I just flew in here from Japan and Bali and Bolivia. These places are amazing. You can go anywhere when you have financial freedom. And how do you get financial freedom? Knowledge. Study, study, study. Leave a comment below this video. Say, I will study hard. That is the secret to success, okay? All my top students are nerds. I'm a nerd. All my top students have glasses. I have glasses. It's because we look at computers and we read so much. And guess what? Nerds rule the world. I know you think that it's all about like entertainers and athletes and all the cool people. They don't. They're fakes. They're just pretenders. They don't really have the necessary skill set. The vast majority, I'm not hating on everybody, but the vast majority of athletes, entertainers, people who you look up to like social media stars, they're fakes. They're being propped up by some nerd who's funding them or some nerd who's taking a good percentage of their earnings while they're being the front man and the front woman and they're getting all the glory and getting all the interviews and everyone's popular. They almost always lose all their popularity, their money, their sanity. You don't want to be like that. It's better to be behind the scenes with the glasses, the nerds in the back counting the money. That's my take. Anyways, I kind of was like on TV for a little bit and people started to recognize me a lot. I'm very glad that that part of my life is over. It was cool, but it was a little crazy. It's much better to just have financial freedom. Like if I could go back in time, I wouldn't even talk about money. Now people see like money, 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 money. I'm very proud to donate and give away a lot of the money. I still like to live well, but I'm very proud to donate actually more than I make. Much to the chagrin of my accountant. He's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't care. I love helping people. We're here in Brazil. We actually have some new computer labs opening up to help kids in the inner city get jobs in the technology world. Anyways, this video, besides just ripping on, people who you think you should look up to or people who you probably do look up to, it's understanding why do nerds do so well? Why are nerds better? Why do they have better, finances? Why do they have better lives? And it's because they have knowledge and it's studying where there are angles of opportunity. And if you're a nerd in the stock market, you're looking for an edge. In case you've never heard this term, it's not just buying random stocks or buying random cryptos or like getting hot tips or hot alerts. It's understanding where the opportunities are. And in this video, I want to go over one specific inefficiency, which has worked so well for me over 20 plus years in trading and now, 15 plus years of teaching because it's very simple. Simple can be powerful if you really understand it and you get down to the nitty gritty. So in this video, I'm talking about the inefficiency that is demand and hype. If a new iPhone comes out, for example, maybe not lately because there's just too many iPhones and not enough features, but early on iPhones, everyone was so amped about every single new iPhone. You're finally being let in on this new technology. You can't wait to get it. Some people camp out the night before the Apple store opens. Now, you can buy it online and it's probably faster, but like in the beginning, you camp out. Or a better example is like a new movie. I guess Marvel kind of sucks now, but like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, every new superhero movie, massive opening, massive lines, everyone's excited. They want closure on this story, or like a Harry Potter movie, or Lord of the Rings, or Star Wars. There's a lot of things where it's just so much hype and you get these super fans and they all can't wait for one day. It's like hype over several days, weeks, or months in the press, online, on social media, little photos, little videos. Everyone's getting so amped. And it's all designed by nerds, by the way. Nerds in marketing departments, nerds in Hollywood. The nerds try to create the maximum amount of hype so that they can then release their product and everybody buys it and the nerds and their companies make a lot of money. The same kind of thing happens in the stock market. If you can, I'm not saying like design hype, I don't want to be like a promoter or like a pumper. If you can recognize hype and you can be there early, then you can ride the hype and you don't have to believe it. One of my most successful strategies, and probably my most successful strategy in terms of teaching, where I can get you to focus on inefficiencies on the stock market, is buying a stock on a Friday As of right now, the US stock market is closed on Saturdays and Sundays, and on holiday weekends, sometimes Mondays too, or holiday weekends, sometimes Friday. But you have 2 days where the stock market is closed, no one can put in any orders. If there is a stock or a company or a trend that is so hot on that Thursday or Friday, let's just say Friday to make it easy, and you buy the stock or you buy into the trend on Friday, fully expecting the hype to keep going on Saturday and Sunday, you most likely will be able to sell that stock on a Monday at higher prices. Whether it's 10%, 20%, 30%, depends on the hype, depends on the market, depends on a lot of things. But the point is that no different than a movie opening to great acclaim and everyone trying to see it on like Friday or Thursday previews now, the hype is real and it's been built up for days, weeks, or months in terms of movies or iPhones. In stocks, it might not be days or weeks or months, it might be a few hours, but because social media keeps going, even when the stock market is closed on a Saturday or Sunday, and people get interested, and people who are not as meticulous as you and me, people who are not nerds, people who don't look at their laptop all the time, they come in, they hear about the hype, they hear about the stock, they hear about the trend on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, and they inevitably put in their buy order on Monday morning. And it's a beautiful thing to see because they think that they're early because, non-nerds aren't that smart. They think that they're like the center of the universe when they're not. It's really the nerds who are controlling everything. Everyone else is just puppets. But, these little puppets think that they're first buying on a Monday. And us nerds, guess what? We've already bought on Thursday or Friday, and we're selling to these morons on Monday who think that they're early, and they don't realize that they're paying a 10, 20, 30, sometimes 50% premium for their lack of being meticulous, their lack of preparation, their lack of being nerds. This is why nerds rule. This is why nerds make more money than non-nerds. And I have to bring it up to you in this point because it comes down to studying. How do you find out about a hot stock, a hot trend, something on a Friday before everyone else on Saturday or Sunday or Monday? Guess what? This isn't that hard, okay? You just have to put in the time. Most people tune out on a Friday midday or Friday afternoon. They like to take the weekend off. They might have an extra day saying, oh, it's the weekend, let me just take Friday off. Or let me just turn off my laptop at like noon on a Friday. And they miss all the news that comes out between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern. Remember, the stock market is open till 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't like trading after hours, but I love this inefficiency created on a Friday afternoon thanks to lazy people. People who don't want it bad enough. And I'm so grateful for them. I'm so grateful that this video will only reach a few people. This video will reach more nerds than non-nerds. Let the non-nerds be late. Let the non-nerds start drinking. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Go have your margaritas at 2 p.m. on Fridays, you morons. You're missing out on the opportunities. And if you are a nerd, if you are meticulous, if you finish the week strong, looking for plays, looking for trends, just like what I do every single Friday, no matter where I am in the world, you will have an advantage over the many non-nerds, the many less meticulous, less prepared people. 90% of traders who lose, why? Due to lack of preparation. This game really isn't as hard as some people think. You just have to put in more time to understand it. And this is just one of my many strategies. But I'll post a link below. I have a full presentation on this Friday to Monday inefficiency. And like I said, this is one of many patterns. Don't think that this is like the sole pattern that's going to turn you into my next millionaire student, but you start to understand how the world works. You start to understand how hype works. And for me, many times I've made 10, 20, 50, even $70,000 or $100,000 plus on one trade. Especially, chapter 6 of my book, An American Hedge Fund. I'll post that link too. There'll be 2 links below. One will be a presentation on my weekend strategy. The second one will be a free link to my best-selling book, An American Hedge Fund. Chapter 6 is where I use this strategy to make over $100,000 in one weekend as a college freshman. I was so thin, I couldn't even get into any bars. I had 3 fake IDs taken away, and I'm making $100,000 in one weekend. And I sold it too soon. The next day it would have been $200,000. That is the power of this pattern. That is the power of being a nerd. Nerds rule. Leave a comment below if you want to be a nerd. Leave a comment below if you want to be meticulous. Leave a comment below if you want to understand that you can buy ahead of the crowd. And understand, I'm not saying this is inside information. I'm saying that the information is out there on a Friday, but too many people are lazy. It blows my mind. I've been teaching for 15 plus years. I've been trading for basically a quarter of a century, and the same pattern works more times than not. Obviously, I can be wrong on any stock, on any play. I lose like roughly a third of the time. Some people are like, oh, you win 100% of the time. No, I lose a third of the time. But when I'm wrong, I cut losses quickly. And my gains are bigger than my losses. My average loss is about $500. My average gain is about $1,600. So my average gain is triple the size of my average loss. And I win more often than I lose. That's how you grow an account over time. Nerd Math 101. So I'm proud to be a nerd. Those of you with glasses, don't feel bad. Congratulate yourselves, okay? And it's not just a glasses thing, but it is kind of interesting that all my newest millionaire students have glasses. And I think it's because they're putting in so much time studying on the computer, on the laptop, and that, that hurts your eyes eventually, long term. I don't have any like really cool millionaire students. They all spend so much time looking at these things. And on a Friday, specifically, I look for trends that could have legs over the weekend. The $70,000 profit was on EKSO. They make this robo exoskeleton that theoretically can help people walk. There was a CNET article one Friday. I was actually in the British Virgin Islands. I was pretending to be cool. I was aboard a yacht. If you've seen the TV show Below Deck, I was on it. They filmed it all. And I didn't even have good Wi-Fi, and I'm buying the stock on a Friday. EKSO had the news. Stocks to Trade Breaking News alerted it. Guess what? It wasn't even Stocks to Trade Breaking News. It was just Stocks to Trade News at that point. But they alerted it. I bought it. Guess what? On Monday, after a whole weekend on the yacht, it gapped up because the news had spread that this robo exoskeleton could help people walk. It didn't prove to be true, but that was the hype with the CNET article, and it just exploded thanks to a lot of social media mentions, and I sold too soon. But I made 70 grand and actually paid for the whole yacht trip. That's one example. Read chapter 6 if you want to see how I made over 100 grand as a college freshman. Buying on a Friday, the company announced, ISCO was the ticker, no longer in business. They announced they were going to be on TV on a Sunday. They said, we just did this interview. It's great. We're fixing, at the time, this was year 2000, going back, 20 plus years. They said they were fixing like the fuzziness in cell phones. Cell phones back then were very fuzzy. They had this superconductive scientific explanation. Turned out to be BS. Nerds can be liars too, so don't trust nerds. I'm just saying be a nerd and be an honest nerd if you can. But ISCO was run by nerds who said that their superconductive technology could fix the fuzziness of cell phones. They were giving an interview over the weekend, or they gave the interview, it was going to air over the weekend, and I thought to myself, wow, this sounds good, let me buy it. I bought way too much. I was way too aggressive back then, but I bought it around 17, gapped up. On Monday, I sold it at 29. On Tuesday, it hit the 40s. So I was so afraid just to be there on a Friday and out on Monday, I could have held till Tuesday and made more. But like a week later, it was under 10. So you don't want to overstay, and you'll often see me sell Monday right near the open just because I like locking in those gains, because it's the whole philosophy and it's the whole inefficiency. When the stock market is open on Monday, sometimes like it can go until Tuesday. The hype can keep going. Oftentimes I sell too soon, but I also say trading scared makes trading not so scary. So I love that inefficiency, buying it right into the close on a Friday, selling it on a Monday near the open. OTC stocks work better than NASDAQ because NASDAQ stocks trade after hours. There's less inefficiency. OTC, anytime anyone puts in an order before 9:30 a.m. Eastern, all those buy orders try to get executed right at 9:30 a.m. So it's like a massive barrage of buy orders. Usually that pushes up the price quite nicely. Doesn't work all the time. Again, nothing is 100%, but more times than not, this pattern exists. Like I'm filming this right now over the weekend. I have no weekend play. There's not always a play. It's not just win or lose every weekend. Sometimes there's no play. I didn't see any play that was good enough this weekend, so I'm sitting in cash. But I'm on the lookout specifically every Friday. So 2 links below. First link is a full presentation. It's more technical on this pattern. Second link is a link to my best-selling book, An American Hedge Fund. Read chapter 6. That's where I made over 100 grand in one weekend. Read the whole book. See how I got too cocky because I made too much money too soon. And I was like a nerd with too much power. That never ends well. So I did well, and I screwed up a little bit too. But now I think I have like a good head on my shoulders. I've had the success, I've had the failure. Now I've had a lot of success as a teacher. So this is just one of my many patterns, but nerds rule, inefficiencies rule. You must study. You must learn this stuff ahead of time before you risk your hard-earned money. You're playing catch up. My top students and I have been playing this game for several years. I've been playing this game for several decades. You have to study the past to be better prepared in the future. How bad do you want it? Where are my nerds at?